Coming up tonight, just a few hours ahead of the 2023 New Year's Day Parade, some B groups calling for swifter results. Well, at least it's not They Rob Us. Plus, on the subject of Junkanoo, remember the Perry Shuffle? Well, you will be seeing it again. One former Prime Minister says he will be back. And the latest installment of The Dream Ship premieres today. Were portions of that movie filmed here in the Bahamas? Well, you will have to stay with us on this voyage to find out. This is Our News Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. A very special Happy New Year to you and yours. I'm Megan Shepard. After reigning victorious in the 2022 Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade, the Colors Entertainment and Junkanoo organization is looking to win 2 straight on Monday morning's Alive-sponsored New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. And while they are pleased with the results of the previous parade, leader of the group, Christie, says for far too long they have been left on the back burner when it comes to receiving the results for the B category in a timely manner.
For 2 days sometimes. We're still asking, what happened in the B category? And see, the Bahamas, I want you all to understand, the only difference between A and B category is numbers. Please get that to your heads. B category is 50 to 200 people. A category is 201 plus to 1,000, 1,500, 1,000, whatever they want to carry, that's on them. But it doesn't mean that they're better. It doesn't mean that they deserve any special treatment because they're large. We're Bahamian citizens celebrating our culture. Please give us due consideration.
He's also appealing to those corporate partners who sponsor Junkanoo groups to also consider assisting B category groups.
Y'all give all your money to the A category groups. Don't even look at us. I thank Leno for what they do. But A groups come along, brand new, just reach, you throwing money at them. This is the feeding ground right here.
If you need your car towed after December 31st, you may be in for a surprise when you hear the bill. In the face of rising prices worldwide, the Bahamas Towing and Salvage Association releases a statement outlining a variety of price increases affecting towing and salvage services across the country beginning today.
Back in the day, when the guys were towing at $45 and $50, gas was $1.50 and bread was 60 cents.
The association cites many factors influencing the increases, including the rising costs of diesel, gas, hydraulic oil, and tires. BTSA Vice President D'Amico Williams says they have received many calls since the information surfaced, and the intent is to sensitize the public to the prices.
To maintain the truck is not cheap. For the guy to do the work on it is not cheap. It's been hectic with us trying to run those trucks and businesses on a lower income. We just ask that the public bear with us, and we'll try to see if we can do the best that we can. But that is where we stand.
Well, it's been 1 week since this disturbing video went viral on Grand Bahama. A group of young men could be seen assaulting a security officer at the Port Lucaya marketplace on Christmas Eve. We spoke with the managing director of the marketplace this week about the incident, and he is asking parents to not drop their children off to the entertainment center unattended, as it is difficult for the marketplace to manage them.
This Saturday, when this incident took place, there was something strange going on in Port Lucaya. We had like teenagers, like from 13, 14, 15. They had the whole place light up. Everyone, the majority of them is using this new thing, this electric cigarette called vape. And all of them look like something wrong with them. You know, we see them from time to time, but they all is acting strange. So we want to, and we hope really that Bahamas government try to get into Bahamas custom and find out what in these vape would they bring in, because that could probably trigger off it also. And the kids bring in alcohol on property by the bottle, sneaking it in.
Chief Security Officer Derek Hunter says the incident was unusual for the popular entertainment center.
The kids them the kids them know security is here to assist, you know what I mean, in case they get into problems and stuff like that. But I don't know what happened that night. Everybody just was acting weird. It was, I know Port Lucaya was swamped with kids. We had a lot of kids on property. We also have a shed-off time for kids. Shed-off time is 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is normally pick-up time for them.
Still to come on Our News Weekend Edition, a bell tolls once for the Pope Emeritus as he passes away at the age of 95. And the idol of journalists worldwide has transitioned after a sparkling career in broadcast journalism. American journalist Barbara Walters is dead at 93. Stay tuned for the details on the other side of this break. Welcome back. Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI died Saturday morning at the age of 95 in the Vatican. Bells rang out from Munich Cathedral, and a single bell was heard ringing from St. Peter's Square in Rome after the death was announced. The news coming just days after Pope Francis asked the faithful to pray for him, as his health had been on the decline for some time. Born Joseph Ratzinger, the Pope Emeritus received his priestly ordination on June 29, 1951. In 1953, he obtained his doctorate in theology, and then on March 25, 1977, he was named Archbishop of Munich and Freising. On April 19, 2005, he was elected as the 265th Pope. He was the oldest person to be elected pope since 1730 and had been a cardinal for a longer period of time than any pope since 1724. On February 11, 2013, Benedict announced his decision to resign, and just days later, on the 28th, his pontificate came to an end. His successor, Pope Francis, will lead the funeral on January 5th. Legendary news anchor and journalist Barbara Walters has died at the age of 93. Walters was known as a pioneer whose interview skills made her a prominent figure in the industry. For 5 decades, Walters was a name to reckon with as she fearlessly put the tough questions to world leaders, celebrities, and everyone in between. She interviewed every U.S. president and First Lady since Richard and Pat Nixon. She joined ABC News in 1976 as the first female anchor on an evening news program. 3 years later, she became a co-host for 2020, and in 1977, she launched the still popular talk show, The View. Colleagues remember Walters as a pioneer, a legend, and master journalist. Walters passed away peacefully in her home, surrounded by loved ones. And still to come from the break, Happy New Year! It's time to find your purpose in 2023. And the Junkanoo Shuffle is back. The Prime Minister, known for this fancy footwork, says he will be back performing at Junkanoo before you know it. We have the details when our News Weekend Edition returns. Prime Minister Perry Christie committing to making a return to Bay. The former Prime Minister is one of the founding members of the Valley Boys and rushed with them for many years. While he didn't hit Bay for the Boxing Day parade, Christie says he will be on Bay for the 50th Independence celebration.
By being able to show again how someone who is old, who's an original Valley Boy, a founding member of the Valley Boys, will come out here representing all of our fallen heroes. And I will be here to do that. And when I come to Rawson Square, I'll be on my toes. And everybody will just be able to be watched with their mouth open. Is that Christie?
Today marks the beginning of a new year, a fresh start to recalculate, reevaluate, and chart a new path for your future. But what if you don't know what that path should look like? Transformational facilitator Anastasia Palacia says that is quite all right.
It's very easy to get in a rut. A lot of us are living our lives day to day just trying to make it, and we have to be very aware of that as well. There is a lot going on financially. There's a lot going on in our country, even just from a spiritual space, a mental space, right? So there's a lot happening, and it's perfectly okay to have hills and valleys in life. But the question comes back to, am I serving as best I can today in any circumstance that I find myself? I just had a wonderful interaction with a lady who is a security officer at a gas station, and she was so pleasant and engaging. Just talking to her for 2 minutes turned my day around, right? And so we underestimate, like, wherever we are, we ought to be showing up in the fullest and most excellent form of ourselves in that space.
If you happen to be in a rut or just not sure what your next step should be, Palacia says take the time to find the things that bring you joy.
I think one of the challenges that many of us have is that we don't know. We really don't know what we want to do. So ask yourself, like, what makes me happy? Like, where do I truly find joy? What am I happiest when I'm doing this thing? What are some things that actually really upset me, that I get passionate about, that I get fueled up about, that I'd like to see change in the world? And answers to any of those questions can lead us into new spaces. It's not always going to be something that makes us money, but it could become a hobby. It could become something that we lobby for. We may be willing to join a civic organization that deals with the thing that we're passionate about. And so we get to ask ourselves, even outside of our careers, how am I being fully happy and living a fully abundant mindset and life outside of just this thing?
And finally, she says, be aware of what you feed your mind.
So much of it is mindset. And so if you find yourself depressed, you find yourself frustrated, just kind of ask yourself, what have I been listening to in terms of music, in terms of podcasts, in terms of talk shows? How can I filter in more positive energy? Do I need to maybe shift my focus and what I'm listening to more praise and worship, to more people that speak life into me, to more coaches and teachers? So much things are available for free on YouTube. So how do I put that into my mind so that my mindset can start to shift from one of depletion and frustration to one of abundance and possibility?
Still to come, what's the weather going to be like for Junkanoo goers? Stay tuned for the weather report. And the Dream Ship premieres today, and the details are straight ahead in our arts and entertainment segment. Stay close. Welcome back to the Weekend Edition. In just a few hours, the street called Bay will be alive with the sounds of Junkanoo. While Junkanoo spectators are getting ready to root for their favorite group, they also want to know what the weather will be like on parade morning. Here's a look at what to expect. On this New Year's Day, millions of German citizens will be seeing some familiar locations to us in the latest installment of a classic German movie series, The Dream Ship. We sat down with the man who helps make it happen, Film Commissioner Clarence, to learn more. Marlena Leonard reports.
When international films come to the Bahamas, it's not just a producer's random choice. In fact, there's a team behind the scenes whose job is to help bring these kinds of projects to our shores. Meet our film commissioner, Clarence, as he explains how they work as the country's movie magnet.
We go around the world, we meet with people at trade shows, at film festivals, and we kind of try to entice them to come to the Bahamas and to make us a part, or maybe even the whole part of their film, their television show, their commercial. We try and build business that way because in a very real way they help our economy by depositing real money into people's pockets in this country.
The production company that filmed The Dream Ship in the Bahamas left over $300,000 in our economy.
They hired a few casts. They also hired people to work mainly behind the scenes. So production assistants, a production coordinator, people to work in transportation. They hired boats to take them to different islands. Of course, accommodations, meals every day. They had people building sets for them. In Harbor Island, there's this wonderful street decor.
And in 2023, that work continues. Roll gives us a sneak peek of what's already underway.
We're going to continue to reach out to filmmakers wherever they are and entice them to come to the Bahamas. We're going to help them once they decide that they're going to come to this country with their border formalities and other things. And we already have, in fact, just today, we got an application for another feature film, hopefully to be shot in March.
But of course, we're not the only ones vying for production companies to choose our home as their location. And while we may have a leg up on the creative side with our beautiful waters and white sandy beaches, there's one thing we don't have.
In today's world, the ultimate benefit to film and landing film, probably the number one consideration, is what we call a film incentive. The Bahamas does not have that yet, and so if we were to do that, it would definitely land us more productions. We are in continued discussions with that, but we're not there yet.
But would that be like your biggest dream for 2023?
That's every film commissioner's big dream, yeah.
And the Film Commission doesn't only work to bring international productions in. It is also dedicated to the work of helping build and expand our own film industry, often offering workshops for Bahamian filmmakers, allowing them to learn from and rub elbows with established industry heavyweights.
The interest in film just continues to grow, and we have to make sure that the skills to make film successful in this country are commensurate with that interest. And so, yes, there will be workshops. We will continue to reach out to the film community. There are some opportunities that are happening abroad for our producers and directors, and we have already let them know about those things.
If you're interested in these opportunities, keep an eye out on the Bahamas Film and Television Commission page in 2023. Reporting for Our News Weekend Edition, I'm Marlena Leonard.
And as we end this newscast, we invite you to tune in to our TV, cable channel 212, Our News Bahamas, and Maya Live on Facebook for live coverage of the 2023 New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. Thank you for continuing your journey with us on the first day of the year. We look forward to bringing you the best in news and entertainment throughout 2023. On behalf of the entire News Weekend Edition team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Happy New Year.